Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron gave a speech Tuesday night at the Republican National Convention. He talked about his support for Donald Trump, and he did mention Breonna Taylor, of course, the Black woman shot and killed in the middle of the night in his state while police were executing a no-knock warrant. He said, in fact, it was General Dwight Eisenhower, a future Republican president, who said democracy is a system that recognizes the equality of humans before the law, whether you are the family of Breonna Taylor or David Dorn. These are the ideals that will heal our nation's wounds. Then later he said, Republicans will never turn a blind eye to unjust acts, but neither will we accept an all-out assault on Western civilization. Outside of the RNC, of course, as far as the Breonna Taylor investigation goes, he has only said it's ongoing, and we know no arrests have been announced. I will start with you, Jared. You know, what do you think about a sitting attorney general, someone with such a spotlight on him right now, speaking at a political event like this?
I think they knew exactly what they were doing. I think they are trying to gaslight Black people, but I think what they are more so trying to do, I don't think they really care about what Black people get out of this convention. I was talking with a friend about this earlier. Really what this is trying to do is make white people feel like it's okay to vote this way, right? They're trying to, they literally brought out immigrants and gave them a naturalization ceremony in the White House for purely political purposes. Like, they are trying to make white people feel comfortable and not racist, really what it is, right? Oh, well, you know, I'm one of the good ones, but you voted for Donald Trump because you saw him naturalize some citizens, or because he gave away a pardon, like it was, you know, a $10,000 check from Shutterfly. Like, it was annoying to me and like enraging to me to continually see them do this, because they're not trying to bring in more Black people under the tent. Like, Black folks, I think, are a little bit more keen than that everywhere around this country. They're really just trying to make white people and non-Black people feel okay about the ways that they have mishandled Black people, because they love to trot out the lowest unemployment for Black folks ever. They literally said yesterday that, you know, that Donald Trump had inherited, you know, an awful economy, but he turned it around in 3.5 years. And it's like, what economy are you talking about? Like, you know what I mean? Like, the one that slowed down after you became president? Like, all of these are little things that they're doing to like try and take their weakness and make it into strength. So bringing it back to your initial question, when they're talking about Black folks, when they're calling out Breonna Taylor's name, they know what they're doing, because they know that we are looking at this and saying to them, like, well, what have you done about Breonna Taylor? Where is that investigation? She's been dead for 170 some odd days. And you've done what? Like, how much investigation does it take to know, oh, yeah, we really messed up on this one? Like, that is ridiculous to me. So they know what they're doing. They're trying to piss us off, and they're trying to make white people feel comfortable.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, the catering to the emotions of these people who, you know, are really trying to distance themselves and be as apathetic as possible during this period of time, and try to make Black people relatable to them. You know, they trot out these people who don't represent any Black person I really know. You know what I mean? Like, they bring out Herschel Walker, and I had to deal with this in a lot of my group chats, because I'm a big Georgia fan. I see OJ smiling because he likes to make fun of me about that. And Herschel Walker is our most identifiable, best athlete in the history of our college football program. But Black people who know Herschel Walker lost his mind a long time ago. You know what I mean? And so for me, he doesn't represent anything. But white people who want to feel as though they are good people will gravitate toward, well, see, this Black man said it, you know? And so, you know, how do you feel this way when there are Black people that are happy and satisfied right now? And and you have to then explain to them that those people don't represent nearly any percentage of what normal Black people think. And I hate to even use that term, because we are not a monolith. But there are some things that we are lockstep in, you know? And, you know, for the vast majority of us who don't have Stockholm Syndrome, we don't want to be used, abused, and killed by the police, used, abused, and killed by the government. We want to be able to just live a normal life and do the things that other people can do without thinking. You know, we want to be able to drive our cars without thinking that there's a police officer behind me and this could be the end, you know? Like, it's gotten to that point now where if there's a police officer behind me, I'm on 10, I'm looking at every single aspect of my car, making sure that I'm not doing anything that could even be perceived as illegal, and just absolutely trying to make it to the point where I'm trying to get. So this guy Daniel Cameron, man, like, he cares so little about the people of Kentucky who are being harmed, Breonna Taylor specifically, that he has a wedding shower. Like, how tone deaf was that? And to mention her name, I'm actually surprised he mentioned her name at all. I thought that was kind of brazen to even mention her name.
The nerve. But
to do so in the way that he did it was even more insulting to me. And then to throw her in there with David Dorn, who was, the narrative they're trying to portray about, well, this guy died on behalf of, trying to protect people during looting or whatever. Like, I mean, it's to politicize people's deaths in that manner. It's sickening, and for him to be to be a shill for the Republican Party in that manner is disgusting to me. I personally only read about it. I couldn't watch it. I don't like the sound of his voice.
Right.
But it's infuriating to have to deal with, on top of everything else we're dealing with, to deal with people who really just don't get it, and I don't even know his motivation. He doesn't seem to be as successful as somebody who does these kind of things should be. I just don't get it.
I would have to also say there's an interesting juxtaposition here between Breonna Taylor's case and Jacob Blake that I'm really interested to see how it will develop. The fact that Jacob Blake is still alive changes all of this, right?
Yes.
And we don't know what that's going to do, because we've not had a hashtag situation where the person lived, right? Now, it's going to do one of two.
But we have seen, it has happened so many times before, way before like the social media era. There's so many heartbreaking stories of people's whole lives changing. There was a baseball player, I want to say, was he in Ohio or Oklahoma? There was a baseball player whose career was ruined after he was shot in front of his house.
I haven't seen that story. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'll look it up. I'll send it to you guys later.
But what I'm saying is, like, Jacob Blake being alive is a very uncommon outcome in these kinds of stories, right? And so him being able to speak eventually, right, at some point, him being able to say, like, this is what happened, that could change the game here, right? Because George Floyd never got to speak, right? Like, George Floyd's story was over there. Eric Garner's story was done there. All of the myriad stories that we could name, including Breonna Taylor in this situation, they don't get to come out and speak about what happened to them. So I'm really curious to see what Jacob Blake being alive, what that does to this story. Because either people are going to be like, oh, well, he didn't die and it's not a big deal anymore and it will die down. Or people will be like, but what does he have to say? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Tell us what happened from your perspective. Like what happened?
Exactly.
Speaking of Breonna Taylor, am I the only one who like that story is so crazy to me that sometimes when I'm by myself, I look at my door and wonder what I would do if the police kicked the door in all of a sudden. Oh yeah. I'm not the only one that does that.
No.
Absolutely.
If I hear somebody like kind of stomping towards my door, like there's some kids that, walk or, heavy-footed, run past to their auntie or grandma's house, whoever that is over there. And sometimes I'm like, oh my God. I have to think that's not the police. You know what I'm saying? But I was wondering. But that's crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy to me that that's what would I do? Like, how do I say that I'm innocent? Like, what do I shout? What do I throw up my hands? Do I dive for cover? Do I run? What do I do? Do I just am I supposed to just take the L?
It's the Kobayashi Maru. There is no correct answer. I don't know if you guys are Star Trek fans or not, but in Star Trek, the Kobayashi Maru is a scenario where it's designed where nobody wins. You have to just kind of give in and say, hey, there's no real solution. And in a situation like that, the only way you can win is to cheat. And I don't know the cheat code yet.
Yeah, there ain't no cheat code.
I mean, what's so egregious about a story like Breonna Taylor's, or even if we remember Botham Jean in Texas with Amber Geiger, what's so egregious about those stories, and I can't remember the name of I want to say it was a woman in her house that shot back at the police. It was like 3:00 in the morning. They were playing video games with their nephew or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, Tatiana Jefferson?
I think that's right.
Wow.
So
the police officer shot through the window, right? Is that
exactly.
Austin?
Yeah.
What's so crazy about those stories is if I'm not safe, in my house,
Right.
where am I safe? And if I can't defend myself,
And if I can't defend
house,
myself.
right, then where can I defend myself? When there are lawsuits across the country where people have broken into someone's house, injured themselves, and sued the person who lived there, right? Like, it is crazy to me to think that like police can come into your house without cause. And like, well, we're investigating it. We're looking into it. Like, how much conversation is there to be had? Y'all were wrong. She's dead.
Right.